Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. I'll never make it an opera, will I? Hey, we're coming here with another podcast. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification button for all the updates you can get on all the latest we're doing on the podcast, and of course the reviews and gadgets that we do on the show. Go to patreon.com/Chris Voss, and also follow us on Periscope and a lot of the other things out there. We're also on TuneIn, iTunes, and Google Play. I want to introduce to you a wonderful guest we've had on the show before, Adryenn Ashley, who is a social media, I don't know what we call her, a social media maven, rock star, sweet person, gal. Welcome to the show, Adryenn. I've just got, what should we call you? What's your title in life?
Some people call me a pimp. Some people call me an influencer. My tagline is I start conversations that matter. So the whole idea is if something needs to be talked about, I can get that conversation going in a meaningful way.
I do the same thing, but not in a meaningful way. It's very unmeaningful, the conversations that I get started.
Yeah. it's a different kind of conversation. I don't
agreeing with me. I think she did. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I agree. Well, you know what? As long as people are talking, it's kind of like that old adage: as long as they spell your name right, it's all good.
I think that's the Kardashian mantra of life.
Yes.
Right there. You know, I was watching the SNL. The SNL did a bit this week with where they did, I think the E! Channel or one of the channels that hosts the Kardashians, and they did this whole joke about their 24-hour lineup of Kardashian shows.
Yes.
And
well, you know, it is not easy being beautiful for the camera all of the time.
I have that problem, yeah.
24 hours a day. It does not give you actually very much time to have an actual life. That's difficult. It's a lot of pressure. You're not feeling any sympathy for that.
The pressure is real. The pressure is real.
And then you got to live up to those expectations. Like it has to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more awesome and noteworthy. Otherwise, you know, your ratings sink. So,
yeah, there's attrition that eats away at your following and at your base, and you lose people or they wander off. I've noticed over the years that I've been on social media and Twitter and stuff that, you know, people come and I'm the Twitter influencer, exciting person of the week for them, and then they move on to another social media, whatever, and you know, they come and go, and so you've got to constantly. That's why I keep telling my clients, you got to constantly be growing your bases. You got to constantly be growing your communities.
Or you'll accidentally do what I did, which is last year I live streamed the Nevada Democratic Convention and showed them stealing the election to 2 million people in 3 days, and went like wildfire, and then grew that to 100 million. And damn, now I'm in politics, which is not where I want to be. I want to be back in sex. I'm happier in sex than I am in politics.
I think we're all happier in sex, at least some of us are. Depends on whether Harvey Weinstein's in the room.
Oh, yeah, that's never fun.
Or Bill Cosby. You never want those two in the room, either together or apart. So that's a thing. So what are you working on lately, Adryenn? What's up with Adryenn in the Adryenn Ashley galaxy?
So I'm launching this naughty augmented reality dating app for good girls, because I figured out
a naughty app for good girls.
Yes, it's a naughty app for good girls. See, it's not that we don't want to have sex; it's just that we have these limitations. They're called dignity and standards, and we just can't lose them. We can't set them aside. I mean, trust me, we've tried. It's just not working.
I thought that's what alcohol was for.
Yeah, it doesn't work. You still end up having dignity and standards. So
better drinks from Bill Cosby.
That would be terrible. But nice guys are also having trouble in the dating world. And what I like to say is, if you want to get tied up and spanked, I can get you laid in 20 minutes pretty much anywhere in the world. But if you're a garden variety, vanilla, normal, everyday kind of person, there is no way for you to do that quickly, easily. And when you're lying alone in a hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning wondering why you're the one who's alone, there should really be a solution for that.
So you built an app for this.
I did. Well, we're finishing it.
So is Tinder just not good enough?
No, Tinder does not work. Tinder is slow. Tinder is unresponsive. Tinder does not work. And it certainly doesn't work quickly, and it definitely doesn't work for people my age. And And it doesn't work for the one person who was like, I'll come over right now. I'm like, how about we meet in public first? He's like, no.
Yeah, Tinder my understanding, from what I've seen with the millennial generation, is just a hookup app. It's just
it's not appropriate. So what I designed the app for is to feed into the want for immediate companionship, but actually give them a potential long-term relationship partner. So
you know,
little bait and switch, but on the good side.
Yeah. One of the challenges I always had with dating apps, because I've watched them over the years, I've contemplated starting my own because they seem like great money makers. You see the kind of ripoffs that, not to imply that you're building a ripoff, but you see the kind of ripoffs like with the Ashley Madison thing, where they were building bots to fake them. Over the years when I've tried them, it's been pretty obvious that there's been bots that are,
it's crazy. And that's the problem right there. So part of what we're doing is we're building on the blockchain, and that includes real verification. So you have to be a real person in order to get on the app. So we'll have fewer people, but at the same time, wouldn't you rather, be somewhere and be swiping and be like, there's 2 people in your area that are appropriate matches for you, rather than swiping through 100 people and none of them are really appropriate anyway. Like, it's a waste of time, and there's so much noise in the marketplace. The idea with my app is to actually curate and cultivate better matches that our AI, literally picks from you. And the more honest you are with the app, the better the matches are. So that's
the other 2 problems that I had with dating sites, when I moved first to Vegas years ago, I didn't know anyone here, and I was still in the dating mode. So I used Match.com to build friendships and get to know people. I learned a long time ago that having women as friends can actually really help you out in meeting other women. And of course, going to clubs and just having women as friends is really cool. I'm really blessed to have some great women friends here in Las Vegas. I get invited to their Thanksgiving dinners, and they cook, and they're amazing cooks. And so it's really a smart thing for guys to have girls that are friends that you're not trying to always sleep with all the time. In fact, when you don't have to worry about it, it kind of takes away that whole weirdness of the whole situation out of it. And I think sometimes women are a little taken aback by my laissez-faire approach, if you will, where they're just kind of like, what does he want from me? It's like, I don't know. We'll just see where this thing wanders off to. I don't really put a lot into it. I'm not Harvey Weinstein, where I'm pushing and guilty and all that stuff. I'm like, whatever. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I digress. Getting back to the two issues I had when I tried Meetup.com and a couple other apps back in the day. 35% of the apps had fucking married guys on there.
Yep.
And that used to piss me off. And I remember,
this is not for that. This is not for them.
Yeah.
If you are married and wanting to cheat, you have Ashley Madison. You have about 50 other apps.
Yeah.
If you are, want to be tied up and spanked, you have 5 different apps just for that. This is literally we're starting with just heterosexual. My gay friends, I swear, you have options. We don't. We may extend that later, but when we first launch, this is really just for regular, everyday heterosexual people.
Yeah, that's too bad. I know Grindr does really well.
I updated
it's a long-term dating app.
I updated the book that I wrote in 2008 called Spotting the Kooks, and I added in all the dating stuff, so that's coming out soon too.
Oh God.
And, my next book is called Minting the Future. It's all about funding your startups with ICOs, because that's how we're going to fund the dating app. Mm-hmm. I figured out a lot of the venture capitalists, they don't want to touch dating with a 10-foot pole. We already have our exit strategy. I know exactly who I want to acquire us, the whole bit. Designed the entire thing, already have patents pending on a bunch of stuff that's what they're going to want to acquire us for. Mm-hmm. So, I'm designing it for a big exit in less than 2 years. But in order to get the money to do all of this, it's easier to do an ICO and pre-sell tokens for services on the platform to the actual end users, kind of like a Kickstarter for software.
Cool.
And that's just an easier way to get done what I need done without having to, ask the powers that be, who are a lot of naysayers who are afraid of the industry. And I know better than they do. I've been in this industry forever.
Yeah. The The other challenge that I had on the sites was choice overload. And it didn't help that 35% of them were fucking married guys. Probably more than half were married guys, or 75%. But I remember I took a couple girls out on Match.com, and then I sent them a message for a second date. And then I never heard back from them. I'm like, okay, well, they're probably not interested. And then I think one girl contacted me back after a while. And I was kind of like, well, I guess I stuck out that well in your memory. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, Chris. There's just 400, like from the first day I joined Match, there was 200 to 400 emails a day coming. And I'm just like, how do you process? I mean, that is, you will suffer from choice overload.
Well, I will tell you, when I got divorced, I signed up for Adult Friend Finder.
Mm-hmm.
I used my exact same profile that I used on Match.com.
Uh-huh.
I got viewed 10,000 times.
Holy shit.
In 30 days. I got 500 emails, and I was real specific. I'm like, if you do not live within 5 minutes of me, boom, boom. Like, I was like, this is my window of opportunity. You have to fit in this tiny, tiny little box, or it's not happening. And I ended up finding someone that I stayed with for 18 months who fit in that little perfect little box. But I got 500 emails that said, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and you know, I don't fit your criteria, but I just wanted to let you know, and I hope you find what you're looking. Like, amazingly awesome emails, which getting divorced is literally what I needed. It was cheaper than therapy. It was awful. It was awesome.
Yeah,
but I found it's a more honest website. The problem is that good girls go there and they're bombarded by a wall of cock shots, and they're like, oh, it makes you feel like you're walking into a sticky video booth in the adult store, and it is not a pleasant experience for most women.
I don't know how you guys do that. That is just, I've had friends that do that, and I've given them the riot act. I'm like, you have no idea. That could be a 17-year-old on the other side of that thing. She's lying about her age. And you're going to end up like Anthony Weiner, who's not going to jail.
Exactly. So how we built Loly specifically was to incorporate all of the great aspects of the whole honesty piece.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no nudity. There's none of that. We have a patent pending heat index where under the covers, you tell what you really want. And you have to be as honest as possible, because this is not going to be shown to anyone but our AI. And you're never rated individually. You're only rated as you are a potential couple. So 2 10s could actually be a 2 because they're not compatible.
Oh.
Right? So it's only about your compatibility. And then you set your level. You want somebody who's, compatible a 6 or above or whatever. And you can't get over an 8.5 if you don't have long-term compatibility.
You know what I need is I need a app for dating with the crazy hot matrix for the wife girlfriend thing. Have you seen that?
Yes, absolutely. There are several unicorns in my mix. They're all, I purposely put them in there. My friend's girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, you met her, Tisha. Do you remember Robert Raff's girlfriend, Tisha?
Robert Raff's girlfriend, Tisha.
We had dinner with them at CES.
They were the couple?
Yes.
Yeah, they like Trump. He does.
I don't know if that's what you noticed and you missed her. I'm very surprised.
I did miss her, but I think I had to unfriend or block him for being
okay. Well, she is an absolute total unicorn. She's sweet. She's a great mom. She's drop dead gorgeous. She's funny. She's smart. She's literally a unicorn. I was huh?
But she's already taken though.
She's already taken, but apparently there's an entire town of her. Like, there's a whole town just like her. And I was like, are you kidding?
Or just you're just taking all of America and putting it in one town?
No, like all of the women in her town are all beautiful, smart, sweet, have no idea that they're that good. They're all unicorns.
What town is this, for Christ's sake? I'll move it.
Small town. Anyway, so yeah, we have profiled quite a few unicorns to figure it out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I'll check it out. It's called Loly.
Loly, Lolly. Yeah, it'll launch next year. We're doing our ICO. We're doing a pre-ICO next month, and we're doing our full ICO for Valentine's Day.
What's going on with those ICO things? Because I keep hearing a lot of different things about them. In fact, didn't the SEC just get after somebody on
Yes, but so here's the deal. Securities fraud is securities fraud. So whether you're calling it a blockchain startup or whether you're calling it, a security investment opportunity, whatever you're calling it, if you are lying to the people who you're taking money from, that's a lie. That's putting you in jail. So this guy was a real estate guy, and he was saying you could invest in his ICO, and then from that, they would then invest in all this real estate, and that they'd already done, 200 million and all of they made like 60 grand, and that's it. Right? They never bought real estate, never did anything. Their disclosures were completely not factual. They didn't disclose the risk. So the thing about ICOs is you have to run it just like an SEC compliant raise. You have to be totally honest. You have to disclose the risk. You have to tell them exactly what they're getting, exactly what they're not getting. Is it a security or is it like Kickstarter for software, which is how I'm doing it? Is it a utility, right? Is it a video game token? Everybody knows what a Subway token is for, right? You can't go then take a Subway token and go buy a Subway sandwich with it. It doesn't work that way. It's not a currency. So you have to really explain, because here's the thing. You got to explain it down to the 4th grade level, because apparently Trump has proven it's 4th grade level, not 7th grade level. We used to all say you got to write to the 7th grade level to get to the mainstream. If you dissected his speeches, it was 4th grade level. So we got to take it down a notch and really explain to the people who have no clue what they're doing. This is what you're getting. This is not what you're getting. This is the risk. You could lose all of your money, so don't spend more than your lunch money, right? Or your Vegas money or whatever. That's pretty much how I put it. Maybe not hooker money, but
well, you got to
could be. Yeah. Some people's hooker money is more than other people's hooker money. I mean, hookers are like,
if you're married or not.
Where you're going. So that's.
Depends on if you're married or not.
I would prefer married that you do see a hooker than scam over a single girl who doesn't know you're married. I think that ethically and karmically,
I would prefer that too. That was more. That was what upset me about the dating apps was like, how am I competing with all these married guys? Yeah. Right? What the hell? And then the girls, they go for the married guys, and then they're like, oh, and I'm waiting for him to divorce his wife, and you're just like,
divorce his wife, woman. Do you have any idea what divorce is? This is where they get him, right? So my first book was Every Single Girl's Guide to Her Future Husband's Last Divorce. For those girls who were marrying guys who'd been divorced, who had no concept what divorce was, right? So these single girls who are dating the married guys, thinking they're going to get divorced, they should read that book too. Because once you realize all the shit they have to go through to actually end that marriage, they're not like, you better be a unicorn, because otherwise it ain't happening. They are not going to leave their wife for you, especially if they have kids. It's not happening.
Yeah, and usually most guys that I've ever known, they can't afford to get divorced.
Right.
It's where the line "it's cheaper to keep her" comes from. They can't afford divorce, and usually they have no fucking idea what it costs or what sort of thing it is. I mean, I counsel so many of my friends that are getting divorced or thinking about getting divorced. They're married, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, it'll be easy, and yeah, I won't have to pay anything." And you're just like, "No, you actually will. You will. You will. You're an idiot." Yeah. And so there's that. One of the other problems they had, so the overload for women was just incredible. And like, even girls that I dated or that wanted follow-up dates with me or that I contacted for follow-up dates, my emails just lost in like 400 freaking a day emails that they were getting.
And I want to be clear, they're not all good emails. Santa Claus asked me out.
Santa Claus? Well, pinky.
Santa Claus. He looks exactly like Santa Claus. He's 70-something.
Might get some good questions out of that.
Right? Santa Claus. I'm like, where in my profile pic, where in my description of what I'm looking for, did it ever say I want to date Santa Claus?
You kind of look like the sort of person who wants to sit on someone's lap and ask for presents. I'm not sure what that means, but...
I'm not going to disagree with that. However,
see, there we go. There we go. You're talking about it. But the only problem is you're going to have to just be a side girl until he leaves Mrs. Santa Claus. So
yeah, never going to happen.
You never know. I mean, he could get tired of her. You know, I hear he's been hitting on the elves.
Oh.
You know,
that's just
well, you know, him and Mrs. Santa have been together for a long time, so there's a little bit of elf swapping, menage a trois, from what I understand, going on. But that's kind of a secret. Hopefully, kids under 18 aren't watching this to find out that Santa Claus is messing around with the elves. But you know, sometimes he gets drunk and goes with the reindeer. He's an old guy. He's kind of kinky. I mean, seriously, think about it.
Again, there's already apps for that. There's no apps for normal people.
An app for reindeer dating. And you know what I want? I want that elves little person app. Somebody did a joke the other day about me. I think Justice Miller. He did something about midgets and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah. So the biggest problem I have with the app is. And then the other thing I found, because I had a lot of discussions with girls and I became friends with a lot of girls, because that's literally what I wanted, was a base of friends when I moved here to Vegas, because I had no friends. And what was funny to me was I moved to Vegas for a while, and then I pulled back. We pulled back to Utah, and then I finally dumped my partner, moved to Vegas permanently. And when I came back 2 or 3 years later, and I think when I checked in the app 10 years later, the same girls were on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
21. I've been on it.
You're perpetually on a dating app for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not everyone else.
Well, no, it's not working. I would not say maybe it's not everyone else. It's not working. It's not matching you appropriately. Right?
I don't know. It's when if I have 500 girls hit on me, I'm probably going to be married in about 3 months. I mean, that's just the numbers that's going to come out.
Out of 500 girls, one of them is going to be able to convince you, Chris Voss, serial bachelor. I know you.
I mean, I'm not a sucker, but there's a normal average guy will.
I would take odds on that. That would end up being a Vegas play. We would have.
I would think after 500 girls, I might find one that I would settle down. I'm getting to that age where if I could find one that cooks really well and doesn't talk too much to annoy me, that we could make it work or something. I'm pretty much going with the Marlon Brando nurse relationship, where once I'm bedridden or wheelchair ridden, I'm just going to marry my nurse. I think that's what I'm going with at this point.
I would say that is more likely than as you are right now, dating 100 women and picking one to marry. That is not happening. Sorry, dude. I know you too well. That's not going to happen. There's no way.
I got broken a long time ago. Owning a talent agency kind of pushed me over the edge, I think. Yeah. But no, I had control of my world before that. I watched a lot of my friends go down when I was a kid. Growing up in Utah, all my friends in their teenagers got pregnant, had to get married, were living in the WIC homes and stuff. I watched so many friends go down the teenage pregnancy. It wasn't even funny. But that's another story. So you're going to build this app called Loly, and the dating app. It'll be interesting. You know, the other thing I got to tell you that as I talked and gained friends through dating apps, because you know I just soon hang out with girls and guys. I mean, it's kind of weird.
We're way more fun.
Yeah, you guys are way more fun. And then what's cool is, like, you know, I just learned a long time ago, if you go to a club with a girl that you're friend with, you know, the other girls see you and go, "Oh, he's not an axe murderer."
Right.
Although most girls say they like the axe murderer part in me, so there's that kink.
No, that's not it. It's not the axe murderer part. It's the unattainable part.
It's the unattainable part.
Unattainable part. It's the he's not going to pick me, so I have to work very hard to make him pick me. That's what it is. That's the allure. It's the I can rope in Chris Voss, the unattainable. That's what they're trying to do.
So the thing that I would talk to these girls about is, they're like, there's these guys on these dating apps that they can write fucking Shakespeare type prose to hit on girls, and they can spend hours chatting and writing the most passionate, moving, you know, these guys could write romance fucking novels if they wanted to.
Yep.
And then the girls would always complain that they'd meet them and they'd be like, you know, and the guy's like Donald Trump. He can't put two sentences together, and he's a buffoon, and he's gross, or just a pig, or worse. But you know, online,
worse is boring.
Yeah, he comes across looking like it. And my thing is like, hey, how you doing? I'm Chris. Yeah, you seem like a really nice person based on your profile. How would you like to go on a date? Fuck me with that shit. But the guy with the silver tongue who can blah 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 and who can romance, and he spends like 20,000 hours. If you go on a date with him, you'll be disappointed. And that's what the girls used to complain to me about. They're like, you know, I find out these guys that they have these silver tongues. They can't operate in real life. Like
I would say they don't have silver tongues if they can't do it in real life. They type well. They write well.
Yeah, exactly.
For lots of awesome things, and theirs is not working correctly.
Yeah, and then you go out with them, and you're just like, where did that person go?
You're no diversity. That's all. Somebody was probably writing it for them. They probably have a matchmaker. I mean, I literally had a matchmaker at one point, trying to get, you know, fixing my profile, trying to get me dates, all of these kinds of things. And my pool is just really, really small. So I figure I need to create the dating app so then I have access to the entire pool, so I can have my AI go out and find my perfect match from the entirety of the pool, not just my geographic region.
I need a dating app for a girl that I know is crazy hot. She's gonna want crazy hot sex, but also I want to be able to ride that border between whether or not she'll stab me or not. That's the kind of girl I'm into right there. I like the excitement of constantly having to wonder when I'm gonna get stabbed.
So you need to marry an Asian, and the reason I say this is because my friend's wife stabbed him. And he stayed with her. He actually stayed with her while she was in jail for 2 years. He said she went home to visit her family, but she was actually in jail for stabbing him. It's
not love until you stab someone in the relationship. It's just not.
They had a fight, stabbed him. So yeah, it's either that or the hot oil. That's how the women usually do it in India and some of the other Asian countries. They just boiling oil. So that's not good. But
don't give my ex-girlfriend's ideas, Adryenn, please. I think they have
you probably
thought of that over there.
Hot, crazy hot sex, amazing, without the fear of death. You can still have that, unless what you need is to ride that edge with the fear of death to make the relationship exciting enough to keep you interested. And then that's on you, babe. That's definitely. This
is why I only date strippers.
You should date WWE women, wrestlers.
No, I don't. I'll never date a woman who's got bigger biceps than me. That's about as gay. There's nothing wrong with the gay, but yeah, I often make this joke around my guy friends. I'll never date a woman who can pin me in a wrestling match.
But wouldn't that give you the extra layer of fear?
No, the stabbing is good enough for it. I like the hot crazy tricks of the stabbing. There's something about a good stab shiv system where I constantly have to lie halfway awake until she goes to sleep at night because I'm worried that she's probably going to stab me in my sleep. But, you know, that's, I don't know.
Chris?
I'm complex when it comes to dating. But.
I know that about you.
And you know what you also need to put in the app? You need to have like a crazy eye sensor. Because that's usually what I look for when I'm dating, and I'm not sure if I stay with them or not. But I love looking for crazy eyes, because crazy eyes, that's a dead giveaway right there.
I taught my ex-husband how to date, and we'd go through online dating. We'd go through the pictures, and he'd be skating through, what about this one? What about this one? I'm like, loves her dog more than she'll ever love you. Needs to be medicated. Is way too medicated. Like, I went through all of them. He went out with all of them.
Nice.
How did you know that? Like, I was right every single time. He's like, how do you know that? So we're going to teach the AI to read those pictures.
Yeah. You gotta, if like Michelle Bachmann or somebody gets on with those crazy eyes, sign. Like anytime my friends.
Right, Chris, for a long-term relationship, you could never be in a relationship with someone who's not a dog person. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Like I could literally map out all of the deal killers. So you put those in there, and then you're only going to meet people who actually have a potential for a long-term relationship. So it weeds out not only the crazies, right? You want a little crazy, but you also have other requirements. Like the crazy has to love dogs.
It all starts at 4 with the crazy hot matrix. So you've got to accept some of the crazy.
Right.
You know, you've got to accept some of the stabbing risk when it comes down to it.
Chris, I don't stab anyone. We don't all stab.
There's still time though, Adryenn. There's still time. I'm sure there's a guy out there who's gonna put the stabbing. You know, Chris Rock said it best. I don't know if you remember Chris Rock at one of his stand-up comedian shows. He said, you know, until you've really contemplated killing the other person that you love in your relationship, you're not really in love. Until you actually looked at them and thought of a CSI episode and whether or not you can get away with it. It's really love.
That's not healthy. that is way not healthy.
No, I gotta disagree with you. I've seen my girlfriends look at me with that look.
I'm not saying they didn't give you the look, but I don't think they would have had the capacity. Well, not only to kill you, but to move you afterwards. Because moving the body, that's the hard part.
I think that's the only thing that's kept them from killing me. Because I've had a couple girlfriends that told me that if they could make it so that no woman ever dated me ever again and implied my imminent death, they would like to do. I don't know what it is. It's like,
you're the one who lives in Vegas, like 15 minutes from the biggest graveyard on earth, like literally the middle of the desert.
Okay. Are you talking about the bodies that bury in the West Desert of dead hookers? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
I thought I was the only one who knew about that.
No.
So that must be you out digging beside me. Are you putting those male stripper bodies in when you're visiting?
No, I would never harm a male stripper body. I enjoy them too much.
We have a lot of those shows here in Las Vegas,
and I love to go. Although I did think it was a little bit much to put the mother of the bride's hand down the guy's pants to touch his penis. That was a little over the top.
That's just Friday for me. What I call Fridays. We have an enormous amount. That's probably the wrong word, or maybe appropriate word. There's that Magic Mike show that's here. There's Thunder Down Under.
Because we good girls need an outlet.
Well, that doesn't mean you're good if you're going to strip club shows, is it?
Sure, why not? It's a performance. It's not necessarily a lap dance. It's a performance.
It's a performance. It's not a fucking opera.
9% of the time, they come out, they take their shirt off, they do a pull-up. We go, you can just do that again all night long. We're just looking. Like men are visual, but we're visual too, and we love arms and abs and the G-string, the jock straps with the tennis shoes. Yeah, not so much. That's not really that sexy, you know. But from the waist up, they can just keep peeling those off repeatedly all night long. It's awesome.
I think you guys are objectifying men.
Oh yeah, it's your turn. We've been objectified for years. We're taking back our power. We're gonna just objectify you. You put yourself up there on that stage, we're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, my favorite.
The problem was when I went to a strip club, the male side of it, all the strippers were gay.
That's the male stripper.
And then they shaved, so they were a little stubbly, and I was like, oh yeah, no, not good. The dancer guys in Thunder Down Under, they're not gay.
I don't want to know how you've validated that.
Different level of chemistry when they're like sidling up to you, and it's like, you know, sorry, I'm reacting to the memory.
It'd be interesting if you can build a really good dating app. You know, I've tried Tinder, but no one seems to reply on it. Maybe it's because they seem.
Well, that's the problem, right? I just did an experiment, right? Did an entire. And I knew this was going to happen. I was just proving my point, right? I was meeting people in real life, but I decided to just try it. And nobody after 6 days. And I just knew that was what was going to happen. I mean, I talked to people, but no in-person meetings.
It's really a millennial hookup app. I mean, it's for the millennials. I've had some friends that are like in their 20s, and it's just like a total bang fest. It's just a hookup app. It's sex on demand.
It doesn't work quickly. It doesn't work quickly at all.
It works quickly for my 20-year-old friends. Like they would hook every night with it. Like,
oh wow.
Like they would have girls just rotating through the thing.
We categorize everyone as an ice cream flavor. So if I tell you that a Rocky Road and a bubblegum don't go together, you probably instinctively know that I'm right. And nothing is wrong with bubblegum, nothing is wrong with Rocky Road. They just don't go together, right? So everybody loves ice cream. There is nothing wrong with ice cream. They're just not compatible. And so that's the other part of the app, is it's not about you, because everybody's great, everybody's fine. There is a match for you. This just isn't the right one. And wouldn't you rather know that ahead of time? Like, could you ever date?
I would disagree with you that Rocky Road and bubblegum are compatible. I think I've had both.
They're not compatible.
And
they're not compatible.
They are.
You think they are?
Well, for about an hour or two.
No. Okay, I will say it more plainly because this is a podcast and not on the radio. If a dirty talker is with someone who needs a mind reader, those two people should not be in bed together, because the minute this one starts talking, this one dries up and she's done. They should not be together. They should not be together. It's not going to be an effective coupling. And all I'm looking for is maximum O's on the counter. That's all I want.
Yeah, basically Tinder is just like Grindr. I mean, you're not looking for any long-term relationship there. You're just going for.
I guarantee even a good women need more to have an orgasm. Men need a vessel. Pretty much any vessel. That'll do.
Yeah.
Okay? Women need more than that, which is why they don't say yes, because instinctively we think, okay, if I go and I hook up, maybe it's a 2, a 3, maybe a 4 on the Richter scale. We want like 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that. So it's kind of like, well, I can give myself a 4. So why do I need, right? So that's the problem.
You know what I want? I want, and this is the reason I'm actually still single all these years, is because I believe in true love and I'm a romanticist, whatever. I went to public school. So I didn't really believe in true love. I was engaged twice, and that's why I walked away both times, is because I didn't really feel that they loved me, and I couldn't see it lasting more than 5 years. And if I got married, it would have to be something that would last forever, because I wouldn't ever want to get divorced. And so no, I really believe in true love. I don't. If it's not true love, I'm not in it, and that's actually the reason I'm single. Regardless of, I know there's a lot of jokes about me in my past and history and stuff like that, but if I ever met somebody who had the unconditional love and commitment that's say 50% of my dog, I might get married to them. But that's about it. I mean, that's the reason I'm not head over heels about anybody, and I've been single all my life, is because I've just never found true love, someone who loved me regardless of money, power, whatever. So maybe I just don't date enough.
Well, you're using the wrong apps to find the people. That's exactly the problem.
I don't use any apps. I think that's the problem I'm having right now. I just don't even bother anymore. No, my biggest challenge too is I'm very nomadic, and like you, I've always got like a million projects going. Mm-hmm. And I love my projects. I love being a nomad. I love being able to do whatever I want anytime I want. And I spend so much time lost in my projects that I'm not like, I should go find some people on a Saturday night at a bar.
Yeah, our calendars aren't necessarily primed for dating.
I'm just very nomadic. I've come. I don't suffer from loneliness. I don't sit around going, I'm really lonely right now and I want to need somebody. And I live in Vegas, so resolving, if you do get lonely, resolving is fairly easy. Spearmint Rhino, Hustler.
Spearmint Rhino is better than Hustler. Sorry.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. The one here in Las Vegas has really gone downhill. They're supposed to be renovating it, but I guess the other problem is millennials aren't having sex as much, and millennials aren't going to strip clubs either. So I guess they're just spending all their time on their phones and doing nothing. In fact, I've seen a few surveys about how millennials aren't breeding, and which is probably good actually when you think about it. But
well, it depends because they have to support us in our old age with Social Security.
I think that's not going to happen. I'm not. I'm not betting on that at all.
Warned that Social Security would not be around when I was ready for it.
Yeah, I'm not even betting on Social Security. I'm not. I've pretty much determined that I'm going to work till. I think Warren Buffett said it best. I'd probably retire about 7 years after I die. He said something to that effect. I've always had the same attitude because hopefully I'll always be able to create companies and projects and things to do. But yeah, so I don't know. Well, I hope you build an app that works. So try and build an app if you can.
Women PhDs in sex ed.
Yeah, I got to stay away from people that have
badass ladies building this thing.
Yeah, I got to stay away from women with PhDs or guys with PhDs. They're the most boringest people in the world.
Not when they majored in sex ed, and I majored in sex ed. So
you majored in sex ed? You can major in that?
Oh yeah, I want to.
That's actually. Are we talking about a college degree or something you earned on the side?
College degree. Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Do you have a PhD in it?
No, I have a PhD in constitutional law.
How many hours do you have to put into sex ed to learn sex ed? Like how many hours goes into that? How many classes?
I was my professor's research assistant.
Well, that sounds like a story that might lose him his job.
No, it was a her, and I did library research.
I like this idea. Tell me more.
No, I drive around all the different university campuses and do additional research for her book. So it wasn't.
Okay.
There was no naughty
courses. Like, how many of these courses are like, here's this thing, put it in there.
Oh, because that's not what sex ed is. This is the whole point. Okay, men think it's this, and that's all you have to do. Or maybe a little ABCs with your tongue, and that's all you have to do. And boys, you should at least do your ABCs. But that's not it, because it's psychological, okay? The whole point of sex ed and the whole point of compatibility and the whole point of getting in a woman's head and making them like juicy and ready is all mental. And if you don't understand the constructs of how people come up with who they are sexually, you can't manipulate it or be compatible with it. It's fascinating how people evolve.
Huh.
So I get really excited about it.
I probably put enough hours for a sex ed degree, but that's on a Vietnamese sex swing. So I don't know. Is that something I can get a doctorate for? Get back for the wall?
No.
I need something for the wall behind me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like a good sex ed doctorate, Vietnamese swing fuck chair. Man, I'm gonna get this video is not gonna make it to advertising status. So screwed at this point with this one.
I'm gonna talk to ICOs.
When you and Mark Kent are putting either of you on the show, so that neither will be eligible for advertising on YouTube at this point, I can tell. YouTube's going to be like, what did she say?
I'm talking about Kinsey. I'm talking about psychology.
Sure, yeah.
One who went naughty.
I think you referred to women's. Different things that happened during the.
I said dried up.
Enticement experience that might not be advertiser friendly. Trojan.
I would love it.
Hopefully, Trojan Condoms buys.
Condoms. Oh no!
Services by YouTube.
Okay. Lilo ran a Kickstarter. Lilo is like a high-end vibrator company, and they ran a Kickstarter for their new condoms, and they're fabulous. They should be a sponsor. KY has a great his and hers lube solution that when they come together, it gets a little hot. That's awesome. There's a ton of advertisers.
Is that the company I always see at CES when I go to Capcom? And they've been there for 2 or 3 years now.
Yes.
And there's a couple other booths that are kind of lumped with them. I always kind of like.
I like the Durex commercials with the balloon animals.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite, where they've got the balloon animals getting wild.
Yeah, I think I actually had a conversation with them was when I was wandering around, getting reviews and gadgets sent to me from CS, and I think the first year I wandered by their booth, and I was like, "So what do you guys do?" And they're like, "Oh, we do this," and they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I review products." They're like, "Do you want to review one?" No, no.
Why not?
No.
I literally write a product review on lube.
Well, I'm sure you
50 different kinds, and what are the best ones for each situation. And
you know what I do need? I do need a Magnum condom sponsor. That's definitely what I need. That way I can get free Magnums. But yeah, hopefully they buy YouTube advertising. Otherwise, this one's not good.
Well, what I was going to say is the Lilo ones, if you're wearing Magnums, the Lilo ones have this stretch.
Are you making Lilo condoms? Are you making condoms for your dating?
No, Lilo is the vibrator company. They did a Kickstarter for their Lilo Hex condoms, and they're like 1,000,000 times thinner, more effective, and more comfortable than Magnums. So you should try it.
Yeah, because normal condoms are like a tourniquet. I don't know who the fuck can wear them.
Wear normal condoms.
I don't know what that's about, man. Yeah, well, it sounds like you've got a lot of sex ed experience even in condoms.
Well, I grew up in the 80s, and everything was safe sex. Everything was condom mania. AIDS was going around. I was like the sex ed instructor. I did my field placement at Planned Parenthood. I was a pregnancy counselor and a sex ed trainer. So I've had the talk 1,000 times. Yes, I have quite a bit of sex ed experience. So I was saying I got dragged into politics, and I'm like, you want me to debate constitutional law? I can, but I would much rather encourage people to have better sex. As a
sex ed professional, that turns me on. I think my nipples are getting hard. As a sex ed professional, just saying that does that to me. It's funny. A friend of mine's getting divorced, and he has like 7 or 8 kids, or ankle biters, we call them around the Chris Voss Show. And he started dating again. I'm like, dude, you've blown your wad when it comes to the number of children. I'm like, you need to go get a vasectomy.
Oh yes, yes.
And he goes, Chris, it's working fine. I'm still using the pull-out method. And I'm
no. I recommend every man who does not want to have children have a vasectomy. It does not hinder your performance whatsoever. As a matter of fact, you will get 10 times more sex because you can't get them pregnant. So there will be less worry. So you will get to do way more stuff.
Yeah, because what guys don't get is women worry about that stuff
all the time.
Women get freer sexually if you have a vasectomy.
I am 49 years old. We just did my labs. I'm Irish. I already knew it was going to be bad. I already knew I should have a 1 in less than 1,000% chance of getting pregnant. Oh no, I'm well over 10%. That shit's not funny. That is not funny. If you don't have a vasectomy, you're not getting near my vajayjay. Not happening. I am not taking the risk. My kid is 14 years old, 14 and a half. I am almost done. I am not starting over. Not happening.
Come on. I've got a lot of friends that started over. They waited till their kid was like 19 and they started over. And
no, 49. Chris, I'm 49. I just got my body back. Just now, I got my body back. I am not getting pregnant again. Not happening. I am already having a hard enough time getting a flat belly again.
My old man did that. My dad, rest in peace. He got rid of us 4 kids, which he did not like or have a good experience with. He finally got us out of the house. He goes and marries a wonderful woman who was the appropriate woman for him to marry, and they had a wonderful, happy life. But she had 6 kids, and
with him,
of course, they were going down to a baby. No, not with him, but she inherited. He basically went from having 4 kids to having 10.
Oh my god!
And then one of the kids dumped their baby off on him for 2 or 3 years while she worked out some issues. So they literally went from getting 4 kids out of the house to having a baby toddler in the house with diapers and all the terror that comes with that, and potty training and stuff.
Yeah, but I could have another kid, but I would have to adopt them, and they would have to be like at least 4, preferably 5. And
yeah, I don't. That's one of the things I used to get when I used to date. Like I remember dating a girl one time who had 4 kids, and she was really an amazing person. I think that was the only reason I considered it. And I was really into her. And one time she turned to me and said, well, you know, the thing is, Chris, if we really got serious, I'd have to have a kid with you. And I was like, well, you already have 4. I don't, you know, we're fine. And she's like, well, why would you stay with somebody if you didn't have a kid with them? And I don't know how many women have that sort of attitude that you have to trap a man with a child, but I was kind of like, man, I see my problem is I watched them stupid Disney movies as a kid.
Right.
And I believe in those movies. I believe in true love.
But so do we. So women, we read the smutty romance novels, okay? The 50 Shades of Grey, that's mommy porn, right? You take away the bedroom.
You're dating the rich guy who's got it all. And...
No, usually we travel back in time and we end up with, you know, a warrior or somebody with muscles who saves us and swoops us off and then ravishes us. I mean, it's insane. This is how our brains are programmed from a young age, that this is what real romance is like, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's not.
But that's the bad programming that's in our heads. Oh, look, I'm doing the crazy. See? I was completely subconscious. That's the bad programming in our heads. That's why we're fucking nuts. Pardon my language. Was I not supposed to swear? We can't sponsors if they swear.
Put that. I'm going to turn that into a meme, and then anytime you say something really funny or strange on Facebook, I'm just going to put that meme in the comments. That's going to be so awesome. I've done that with Scoble and a few of my friends. I'll copy some weird stuff that they'll post, and I'll cut out some video, and then I'll just keep putting that. I did that to my friend Robert Scoble one time, where I got this crazy shot from one of his videos, and he's got all crazy eyes and stuff. And then I would just answer like every comment on each one of his posts
with that. And
then finally, I think he called me up and he's like, hey man, that's just really getting annoying. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep doing it. I'm one of those awful friends like Bill Murray, where every time, what was the story about Bill Murray where he was friends with the guy who was married to the girl who was in Dirty Dancing, or one of those movies, Patrick Swayze bangs the chick in, I think it was Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And so every time Roadhouse would ever be on TV, whether it was the middle of the night or any time, he would always call his friend who was married to the girl who was in Roadhouse, and he'd be like, hey, I'm watching Patrick Swayze bang your wife again. And he's done that for like 30 years or something. It's just the ongoing joke. So I'm usually guilty of the same thing to my friends, where if we can find a drum, we beat it. For you, it's going to be sex ed and this from here on out.
Okay. Well, good to know I have a thing.
Well, it's your thing.
My thing. Yeah. I've got many things. That's just one of them.
Sex education. I mean, so when you study,
people don't understand. So back to my 80s sex ed education, right? Back in the 80s, the rules were pretty simple. This is why I like condoms, right? If you can't see it, it doesn't exist. Use a condom. Don't have sex with IV drug users. That's it, right? But now you have HPV. You have 85% of women over the age of 35 have herpes, and most don't know it because it doesn't ever present itself. And yet it's still technically kind of maybe transmittable, about the same risk as getting pregnant while using a condom.
What the fuck?
So there's all different rules.
Well, I've never had sex again, huh? You know, one of the commercials that freaks me out is that new commercial where they're like, did you know that 30% of adults have hepatitis C? And I'm like, what?
Oh no, it's the seniors. And the seniors, they're having these epidemics in these retirement homes because the seniors are all getting busy, and since they can't get pregnant, they're not using condoms. And
oh my gosh.
Oh, holy shit, you don't even know. The largest epidemic of hep C transmission is in senior citizens.
Seriously?
So, do not be having sex with people over 65 without protection. Just saying.
Note to self, don't have sex with people over 65. This is why I only date teenagers. Of course, my parole agent says they have to be over 18 now. Yes. So I try and stick between the 18 to 22 range.
So when I was doing my Tinder thing, I went down. I was talking to my ex-husband, and I told him I got asked out by a 28-year-old. He said, "Well, why didn't you go out?" And I'm like, "Because he's younger than my son." He goes, "Well, you don't live here anymore. You're not around them. It doesn't matter." So he gave me permission to date a 28-year-old, and I was like, "He's 62, 62." I'm like, 60, I was married to a 62, and now I'm going to date a 28. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can do that.
That's the problem with that's the problem that I'm having at my age, is that if I date women, I'm dating women that if I date women that I'm supposed to date in my dating pool, they have kids that are in high school, or they have kids that are going to college right now.
Yeah. And
so they're looking at me going, "Hi, Chris. Yeah, I love you. Hey, how are you good for half a kid's college?" And then the other problem I'm having is owning a talent modeling agency. I dated a lot of 20-year-olds. And so usually if I'm looking at someone who's about in my dating pool, I'm looking at them going, your daughter's, yeah, I get that whole Woody Allen thing going on that I got to stay away from. So
you need to date someone 28. I give you permission. 28, they still look hot. They're still banging.
No, that's too high for me. That's too old for me.
Too much life experience?
Too much. No, they've got too much, I don't know. They're just too old at that point. I have a real Hugh Hefner mentality. You've got to get them when they're fresh. They still smell like fresh eggs. They're fresh out of the bag. They don't have the baggage, the damage yet. They still love sex. They haven't figured out that they got to pay their bills yet with it. That sort of thing.
You are so bad.
You have no idea. And you've had a sex ed degree. So actually you probably do. But anyway. So this should be an interesting app. Hopefully I've given you some ideas on how to incorporate it. Maybe you should make a Chris Voss section of the app. Like I can have my own community on it.
For the 20-year-olds, 18 to 20-year-olds.
Well, the thing is there any sort of I think there needs to be, and you have this as a sex ed professional. Wow, I've got a lot of material I can make off this. I mean, really, I think you should have a kinky section of the app.
No, if you are
S&M area, because you don't have that on Match.com. There's no S&M.
FetLife. No, if you are kinky,
there's no what if you're into midgets and Shetland ponies?
Then you go to FetLife. There's whole communities just for you, literally narrowly focused on exactly what your kink is. The problem is when you don't have kinks.
Be an entrepreneur. I'd advise you to have like segments to your business.
I have multiple revenue streams. It is all for good girls. There are 60 million women, single women, just in this country looking for love, and there is no place for them that actually is effective. So I already have a great market share. I'm good.
I'm just giving you ideas. That's all.
I know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Not that you are not a marketing genius. You are. I'm just saying there are already apps for that. I do not need to reinvent the wheel. So I am building a mousetrap. However, they will buy me just to get my heat index, because once that compatibility matrix goes in, then they can layer that on all of the other ones that they own.
Your heat index, does that indicate whether or not you're in heat or not? How's that?
How hot the coupling could be.
How hot the coupling can be? Yeah. Can you really, can you really assess?
Yes, with a very high level of accuracy. Yes.
Really?
I do in person all the time. So what we're doing is we're training the AI.
Yeah.
Because
I know a lot of girls that, they'll meet a guy, and I think it's been said that a woman decides whether or not she's going to sleep with you in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, and if her underwear matches, she decided to have sex before she met him.
Yeah, that and if she shaved her legs that night before the date, which I don't know why. I don't think I've ever slept with a woman and gone, she didn't shave her legs. Screw this bitch. The
5 times I had sex, I had not.
never ever crossed. I don't think there's ever been a man in this world who gives a crap whether a woman has shaved her legs. Of course, it depends on how long those. I mean, I've seen some ladies that are Middle Eastern, and they have these arms. They have arm hair that is more hairy than mine, which is another deal killer. If you have more body hair than I do, or if your eyebrows meet, it's probably not going to work out between us. I'm just saying.
There you go. That would be your conclusion.
That's just anyone who can pin me or has more body hair than me. That's kind of that's the low bar.
There you go. But see, can you imagine when you?
So can you put that in the app for me so I can have those?
So the whole point is that the app looks at these things, and it's not going to match you with someone with a unibrow, because when you're constantly given choices that you have to swipe left or swipe right, and you're thinking, what the fuck are they thinking? I would never date this person in the first place. That's the problem.
You know, here's another problem for you to solve, Adryenn. And I see this on Tinder and all these apps. And I think someone said, one of the gals said to me that they actually do it on purpose because they don't want a hot picture of them out there. Or maybe they're worried that it will get out and get to their work or whatever. But when I go through Tinder, I see some of the worst photos in the world. Yeah. And I'm just like, how do you expect a guy to be attracted to that? That is the worst photo, the way you've set it up. And maybe it's blurry, or these girls will take these goofy shots that you're just like. They put up
their Snapchat with their little doggy nose and their little unicorn horn. Because that's attractive. And when you show up for your date, you're going to look just like that.
Yeah, it's just, and the photos are usually poorly darkened and stuff. Like I could make a small fortune probably. I don't know, maybe I couldn't. But going to women and saying, "Hey, look, I looked at your Snap or your profile on Tinder, and we just need to take some good photographs of you because
do a DIY product.
Yeah,
do a DIY product that teaches them how to take great pictures for dating apps.
Yeah, so I would do that if you're going to build a dating app, because that's one of the biggest problems I see is women do not take their photos well. And maybe they don't. I think some kind of try and take bad photos. A lot of women aren't taken seriously. The other thing you need to do is you need to block women that are just rebounding, or guys that are rebounding. No divorced people, no rebounds.
No, I'm divorced.
If you haven't been divorced, hold on. But if you haven't been divorced for 2 years, you're still a shit show mess. Like, no one wants to date you for 2 years.
Well, you can put that in your exclusion category.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have them put the date of their divorce.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and then one thing women always used to say to me, because I had my vasectomy when I was 22. I grew up poor and knew that I needed to control my life. But I have some women that'll say to me, they'll be like, "Do you really have a vasectomy, or is that just a line?" So I think what you should have in the app is the thing where everyone has to turn in a copy receipt of their vasectomy, or their tubes tied, or
it's already there.
Medical proof of.
Well, so we have background checks, we have STD tests, but the other thing about STD tests is they don't test anybody for herpes unless you specifically ask, because everybody has it.
Or unless they got it last week from a trip to Thailand, asking for a friend. I don't know what that.
But that's the whole point, is the education, right? So if it's been 30 years since you took a health ed class, you don't know the current information, and nobody gives refresher classes. So all of these things are built into the app, because I think the more education, the better the communication, the more that people understand, how things actually work, and putting together really, what do you want, right? The first part of it is, how do you get what you want if you don't even know what you want, or if you can't ask for what you want? But if you can't verbalize it, you put it in the app, then we find it for you, but you have to be honest. So
maybe you should have a profile, like whenever I go into like the doctor, or like even the eye doctor. I wanted to see my eye doctor the other day for my annual, and Jesus Christ, I had to fill out like a health thing it was like 4 bloody pages.
Right.
You should have that, like, have you ever had diabetes? Have you ever had AIDS? Have you ever had AIDS? Have you ever had chlamydia?
Have you ever had? Do you have?
No, I want to know if they ever had it in the past.
No, there's no have it in the past. It's not curable. What the heck?
Well, yeah, with AIDS, but chlamydia.
Chlamydia is easy. That's one round of antibiotics. You're done.
Oh yeah, you're a sex ed therapist. I don't know about chlamydia because I used to date strippers. I'm not sure what that means, but but no, I think you should have something on the dating app that. I'm thinking of some stories. They're just funny as shit.
Right.
That I can't share.
So maybe we'll talk about you doing some social for Loly because you have a lot to say.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a lot of friends that owned strip clubs back in the day, and so I have a lot of stories of people's experiences. But no, I think you should.
This app is not to date strippers. This app is to date good girls, nice guys, engineers. Great engineers, they are awesome in bed. They got no game. They're not picking up the girl at the bar. They're probably unsuccessfully trying to ask them out, but they are great in bed. I mean,
why? Because they're 20 years old and hopped up on Mountain Dew and.
No. They're like 35, but they're very dedicated. They know where everything is. They've
Really?
learned. If they know, they'll learn more. They want to make this like the best
We're
experience.
talking about Silicon Valley engineers.
Yes.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Those coder guys are the guys that I would expect to be over in about 5 seconds flat. Like you can't even build up to an orgasm with it. You can't get past the third.
Nope. Not in my experience. I prefer techies.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess they had that read wrong when it comes to nerds.
Yeah. No. Totally. Nerds rule.
Maybe awesome. It's because they have no game. So if they get something, they really have to work the shit out of it. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. But then the good girls are staying home. They're just busy on their careers or doing whatever. And again, you know, they've gone home a few times for one night stands and it hasn't really gotten them where they wanted to go or been great. They just assume it will always suck. And not in a great way. So this fixes that. That's the whole idea.
Yeah. See, my perfect relationship is she has her own house. I have my own house. And we hang out, have a great relationship. And I can go stay at her place. She'll never want to come to mine, of course, because, well, it's a bachelor pad. Yeah. But then I don't have to hear her talk about, you know, what I do at my house or how, you know, unclean or cluttered my office is. And she can be happy. She's got her nest over there. Yeah. And then I've got my garage. What's the thing called? The man cave. My house is kind of my man cave. And then that's a healthy relationship. People need to stop getting married. They need to stop living together anymore. It just doesn't work out well.
I don't know.
It doesn't. Like you know what my other problem is, Adryenn?
What?
I'm 49 too. I'll be 50 in January, and I'll load a gun and pull my brains out because my life's over at 50. Trust me, everyone's telling me that. But all of my friends are divorced. Like I've got friends that are on their second and third divorce now. I have
my one. I don't get to have another one.
I'm still trying to catch up. Like I'm still happy. I don't know, you know, I'm starting to really feel out of sync with the social norms of my age group.
Yeah, well.
And I still have everything. Like those are two $4,000 speakers behind me. Look, I still have both of them. 50% of them aren't gone.
That's so funny.
I had one gal come up to me and she goes, hey Chris, you know, you're 40. Why haven't you ever been married? And it's like, because I like owning 100% of my shit.
So when I look at Match, I won't actually date anyone that's not been married or doesn't have kids.
Really?
They won't understand me. Mm-mm.
Anyone who's not been married? Well, I think I understand you pretty well.
Well, yeah, you're an exception. You do.
But I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of sex ed experience and relationship experience.
Yeah, but if you've never been a parent, it's very difficult to understand what parenting might.
That's true. That's true.
Child is.
I did I was engaged for several years and did the stepdad. They call me stepdad, and I was really proud of that. My experience with them because they had a really bad alcoholic father. And so giving them some stability was important for what little stability I could provide for their semi-alcoholic mother. But yeah, raising kids was a different experience. That was close as I wanted to get because I'm not a diaper sort of dude. But no, now when I meet girls, it's like they're looking at me going, yeah, you're really cool, but I'm going to need half this. I need somebody who can pay the other half of the college tuition.
No, that's what you say here. Let me introduce you to someone who helps with scholarships.
There you go. There you go. And then
you have a Rolodex of people who help with scholarships, and you just hand that off and go, there you go. There's your other 50%.
Yeah. And then the other problem is I always want to go hang out with the girls at their sorority house. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm just trying to make sure to be a good parent.
Exactly what that's about, and that is not good.
This is why I don't have kids. I'd be like, son, you can bring the girls home, but you got to bring one home for dad. Okay, that's just how it works.
Just how it works. You're so bad. You are so bad.
Oh, you have no idea.
I do. I do. That's the whole point.
Imagination for it. Yeah, I've seen a lot in life. Being single all my life means I've attended quite a few parties. So I've seen the full gambit of it. I didn't go to college for sex ed, but I probably have seen enough of it. But so your app should be pretty cool. Getting back to your app, and hopefully I've given you a lot of great suggestions that you'll never use.
Well, what the app basically does is it has all of the security protocols that women need. So it's got the background checks. We also have a way to check in and check out of sexual encounters, so that it's good for guys too, because then you don't have the next morning where she's going, was it rape or regret? And
that's a real scary thing nowadays. That's a real scary thing.
I fixed that because guys can be losing everything with a false allegation. So you check in. There's a safety protocol. It passively listens for your safe word in the background. If you say your safe word, phone rings, Buffy, your cat is in the bed, you gotta go.
Hold on. Are you really incorporating a listening thing in the app? Are you joking or is that for real?
I'm not joking. It passively listens for your safe word. It doesn't record anything. It just passively listens for your safe word.
How would it not record anything if it's not? Okay, it's probably beyond what I know about coding, but that seems kind of, I got to tell you, Adryenn, I'm not joking around.
I know, isn't that creepy?
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird, but then you check out and then you rate. And the ratings are not public. They're just how good was our AI at matching you. And it just teaches the AI better for next time or whatever, what to look for. But at the same time, when you've got that successful checkout, like 3 days later, she can't say he raped me because there was a successful checkout and it was, on the chain. But then again, if you have a guy who's going around giving people AIDS, we can actually track that too.
That would be good. I actually have like 7 meetup groups here in Las Vegas that I control, and I do it for a lot of networking and stuff. 2 of the groups I took over were singles groups, and meetup kind of changed the rules, I guess, between the time they had them and I took them over. Before that, the singles meetup groups were running speed dating things,
right?
And when I took them over, meetups like, you can't do that anymore. And I was like, well, I wasn't, but people were prior. But I've actually gotten a few messages from people that are girls telling me that a certain guy who's in the meetup thing is a problem. And, he's had some issues with vice, and assault of women. And so I think there needs to be, I think you need to have a review thing on the app, or you should have a review thing on the app.
Not public again. So when you're talking about
it needs to be like that. So go ahead.
When you're talking about sex and you're talking about criminal charges or allegations, none of that can be public, because then you're creating a liability situation.
Yeah,
so it's fine if they tell us, then that goes into the AI. Then we can do a background thing and decide whether or not they stay on the app or they leave. But that's the whole point of that.
You need to have it done, like the reporting or review would need to be done quick in my mind, because you want to know, okay, so how was your experience on the date? You don't want somebody who 3 or 4 days you haven't called them back and they're just shit canning your.
No, that's the whole point. Review process. It's only open for a few hours afterwards.
Yeah. So like an Uber sort of review thing where, how was your driver?
Right. I want your in the moment. I think my laptop might be dying. But yeah, there's a lot of different functionality. We have background checks. There's a whole bunch of security protocols.
Cool.
There's quick ways for women to get help, men too. I mean, they're all upgrades and things like that. But the whole idea is to make it safer, funner, and more honest. You know, like if you go to a poly swingers, orgy kind of thing, somebody's going to walk up, they're going to put their hand on your shoulder and go, "Can I put my penis in wherever they want to put it?" They're going to ask. There's going to be some communication about what's going to happen. They're not just going to literally walk up and be like, "Oh, look, an open hole." It's just not, that's not how it works. There is actual communication and ethics and agreements. And so we built in a lot of those into the app so that when you're on it, you've actually already agreed to all of these ethics commitments, because it's really about being a good person. So we don't want slime balls and douchebags. If you are the guy who wants to sleep with a different girl every night, yeah, that's totally fine, as long as that is what your profile says. That's
what your target market is. Yeah. Note to self. I had a joke for that and it went. All right, Adryenn. Well, it was fun to have you on, and it's always fun to have you on because I think you're as crazy as I am, or somewhere in that sort of range. Crazy's relative, so maybe
that's the right amount of crazy.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't put a cap on it. I mean, the funniest part is I have you doing this, and then there's that picture behind your head of you screaming. So that's
Connie and the Cocksuckers album cover.
Go anywhere with their mouth open in the picture. I have no idea. We should hang out more. It's too bad you live in that shithole Reno area, Nevada.
I'm moving to Denver.
You moved to Denver?
I'm moving to Denver.
Oh, you're moving to Denver? Good. Get out of Reno, man. I mean, that's I've seen the police show documentaries of your city. It's pretty awful.
No, Reno 911 is nothing like
Reno 911. Yeah. No, I've been to Reno. It's I don't know. I've been to truck stop bathrooms that probably are more exciting and interesting. Not to be mean to your city, but no, is that city growing? Has anything happened there lately?
Yeah, it's growing. There's a lot of stuff happening here, but for me, I need a bigger, more thriving crypto blockchain startup.
Why don't you move to Vegas? I mean, why Denver? Have you seen the hill in Denver? It's like giant.
Have you seen the summer in Vegas? I told you I was going to move to Vegas, and we were driving to the Discovery Museum.
Much different than Reno.
Nobody cared. Nobody called the police. They're just homeless people or drug addicts. They just died. They'll up at some place.
When you live in,
cares about dead animals more than you guys care about dead homeless people.
When you live in Vegas, you don't go to the Strip. You don't go downtown.
I know.
You avoid that area.
Go down there.
Plague.
I was at the Discovery Museum. I was with my kid and my mother. And there were dead people on the sidewalk. No, it's
Vegas. It's
Vegas. I'm not raising a kid.
I've never seen dead people on the sidewalk in Las Vegas.
They were littered. It was 115, and they were literally on the sidewalk, like zombie apocalypse did.
One person?
3. It was a string of them. So I called police, and nobody, I was the first person to report it. I'm like, what? This is a busy street. What do you mean?
Are you sure they weren't sleeping? Are you sure they were dead?
I don't know how they could be sleeping in 115-degree bright sunlight.
It's Vegas.
Without, their sleeping accoutrements.
If you take enough heroin, you look pretty relaxed, from what I understand.
Well, whatever. That is definitely not where I want to be. Those are not my people.
I live in Vegas, and it's really normal here. We have normal subdivisions.
No, it's not. I've been there. It's not normal. It's not.
You got to get off the Strip, honey. You got to get off the Strip.
I've been off the Strip. I've been in
where I live and have lived in Vegas, you have no idea you live in Vegas until you drive around.
125 degrees outside.
No, it gets maybe max 115.
115, right. It was 126 in Phoenix. I'm not moving.
It's only like that for 3 months out of the year. The rest of the time, it's wonderful.
Right. No, not happening. Not happening.
When you move to Denver and you see...
Denver with a nice international airport.
I used to have an apartment in Denver. and you see the dent marks on all the cars that are about this big, and it looks like somebody took a ball-peen hammer and hit them.
Called hail.
Yeah, that's hail.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. I live in Reno. I have hail. That's what I have a garage for.
Denver's like nothing else. And then it's a mile high. But Lowdown is a great party area in that city. I don't know if it still is, but Lodo is awesome. Lower downtown. Yeah, I think one of my kidneys or livers is still back in Lodo, actually. So that's another story. So it was great to have you on. And I think we lost Adryenn. So we'll thank her for coming on the show. I bet her battery died on her Mac because she was referencing that earlier. So anyway, we always love her. She's a lot of fun. She's always a hoot and a great person. Thanks for being on the show, Adryenn. I guess I'll wrap without you since your laptop died. So anyway, watch for her forthcoming dating app. And I believe you can find that on, I believe she has a Facebook fan page up for that. And the Facebook fan page, I think I'd just seen it, is, let's see if we can pull that up real quick so we can give her the plug. It's called Loly. And so you can go check it out. You can see Adryenn on Facebook and Twitter, Adryenn Ashley. And of course, you can follow her new startup, Loly, the dating app. And you can find that on Facebook pages as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the fun discussion we always have with Adryenn because she's a hoot. Great gal. And be sure to follow us on YouTube. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. Follow us on patreon.com, iTunes, TuneIn, and Google Play. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. That was so much fun.